Hello, hello. My name is Sophia Wren, and today we have the cycle interviewing Mare Cromwell, and she is the author of a really amazing book. Here it is. This is just one of her books, The Great Mother Bible. And let me tell you a little bit more about her as she joins us today in the cycle. And the cycle is a series of interviews that I've put together because we always go through different cycles in our creative processes, whether we're business owners or writers. And it's going to be a little bit different for all of us because we're so unique and the things that we're bringing forward are so unique. But it can be really inspiring to hear about the process of another creator, and it can inspire our process too, because we're all going through the cycle in different ways. So a little bit more about Mare. She is a Gaia Communicator-Priestess, an empathic, intuitive, shamanic healer, international speaker, and multi-award-winning author. Her books include The Great Mother Bible, Messages from Mother, Earth Mother, and If I Gave You God's Phone Number, Searching for Spirituality in America. She has studied with Native elders for 20 years and calls Western Maryland home. Mare is also a former worm herder. So you want to say hi to everybody?
Hi, this is really a treat, and I'm really humbled and honored, Sophia, that you asked me to do this. So yeah, this is really fun. Happy to be here.
Yay! And I'm very excited to have Mare, and I know that she has so much to share and so much to say. And my hope is that after having done this Google Hangout with me, she'll be out there in an even bigger way, getting to use it for herself more. And so I've actually picked up her book maybe about a year or two ago, and I really enjoyed it. And so this is a special book, and I wanted to bring Mare on to ask her about her inspiration. So could you tell us a little bit about how you created the book, The Great Mother Bible?
Well, it's an interesting story because, frankly, the book was never my idea.
Yeah.
And I know you've read the intro to the book.
Yes.
Some of it, maybe.
Yeah, I came to you. I wanted to be written.
Well, honestly, I work really closely with Earth Mother, and that's a bit out there for a lot of people. A lot of people don't even know that she exists, and they think we live on this planet that's a rock with trees and plants on the outer edge with humans and other animals. But I was asked to do a ceremony with a really gifted Algonquin elder in early June of 2012. And I was just diagnosed with lymphoma, cancer, large lymph nodes. And a couple days after that diagnosis, I was scheduled to meet this elder. And Earth Mother specifically requested that the two of us do this ceremony together, which was really humbling, and said to him that this was going to be healing for her. We had no idea what that meant. That was like, how could this little ceremony be healing for her? But when, right before he did the ceremony, he said to me, I'm going to be bringing Earth Mother's energy and her consciousness into your energy body. He says, I don't know how you're going to disconnect afterwards. He's been working with Earth Mother for years and years and years. And she actually appeared to him one time as like a wispy white column of white light and said to him, I'm Gaia. You call me Gaia. And they had like a 3-hour conversation. So she definitely exists as a very powerful spiritual consciousness. And I have essentially surrendered to her in this diagnosis of lymphoma. Mother, right after that ceremony, things started getting really interesting very fast. Like my car went an extra 110 miles on full, just didn't budge off full, and just, you know, I thought the gauge was broken, but it wasn't. After a couple more tank fills after that, it was like the gauge was fine. And I asked her, did you do that? She said, yes, I did that because I want you to trust me. I'm taking care of you. So this is just one example of how I'm going to be working with you. So the inspiration for this book, I'm not sure if I'd call it inspiration. I'd probably call it desperation. but not really desperation. It really is actually spiritual surrender.
Yeah.
I right after that ceremony, and I'd already been working with Earth Mother a little. I'd already been studying with Native teachers for, at that point, I think 16 years. But right after that ceremony, she came through gangbusters talking to me very directly and essentially said, there's more to the story than what I'm sharing because we only have limited time here. But she said, I want you to put this other manuscript aside that I was working on the sacred feminine and my healing journey, because I'd been diagnosed here before with one enlarged lymph node. And then she says, I want you to write this other book. She gave me the table of contents all one night. She gave me the first message one night. I got messages from the dolphins and whales all the same night. The book was written in 5 weeks.
Yeah.
And I was in an altered state the whole time. So that's the Messages from Mother Earth Mother book. And then the Great Mother Bible, about a year and a half later, I thought I was going to move to Washington State to work with a gifted medicine woman. And Mother woke me up at 5 in the morning. She loves to get me up really early when she really wants my ear and wants me to start writing and listening.
Yeah, like 5 a.m. or 4 a.m. or.
Yeah, 4:15, 5. Oh my God. And I'm not a morning person normally.
Yeah.
So she woke me up in the middle of November 2013 and said point blank, you're not moving to Washington State. You're going to stay here in Maryland and write the Great Mother Bible. And I really balked at first. I was like, and I surrendered, and the thing is, I had actually healed from the lymphoma, totally away from the doctors, because that was what she said. If you surrender to me, you will not need to work with the doctors. So I had healings. Trees gave me healings. Ceremonies spontaneously gave me healings that were totally unexpected. There's a lot of interesting stuff that was going on in my surrendering to Mother. And by that November, it was clear that my lymphoma was gone. I actually had a gallbladder attack, and the CT scan showed that my lymph nodes were all back to normal, but one was just slightly larger than normal. And my doctor was like, how'd you do this?
Wow.
I said, lots of ceremony, which is, that and lots of prayer and surrendering. But so Mother said, you're going to write the Great Mother Bible. And I said, I don't think I'm the one for that. That's a really big title. She said, no, you're the one. All you need to do is listen. So it started January 1st, 2014. She woke me up at like whatever time that was at first morning, 5:15. And it was like, okay, we're starting. I could keep on going. If you want to ask another question, the story is long.
It's great. I mean, you do talk a lot about it in the book. I know that because you kind of go like day by day. And I noticed that. And, it's funny you talking about being kind of reluctant to be the one to write the Great Mother Bible. Like, are you sure this can't just be like less than a Bible book? It's got to be the Great Mother Bible. It's like a really big title to be, and it's way easier to like, do what they say of like writing a crappy first draft and not really having any high expectations, but you were stepping into that. I mean, I can see why you would not be, be like, why me? What?
Yeah.
And you kind of talk about that in the book too, like the sort of, you get the things that were going on emotionally because you're having a conversation with her.
Yeah. And actually one of the premier review venues in the country, Kirkus Reviews, compares it to Conversations with God. It calls it an enjoyable feminine version of Conversations with God, which is huge kudos for my book and this work with Mother. But it really is very similar to Conversations with God, but it's conversations with Mother. And the interesting thing, as you know in reading it, is that first it was the great divine Mother who came in and not Earth Mother. And I could tell it was a different consciousness because I've gotten to know Earth Mother's energy and her voice, and this was different. And then I finally realized, in asking, this was the great divine Mother. And then she passed it over to Earth Mother. And said that she was going to be speaking through Earth Mother at times, but Earth Mother's first comment was, I'm the forgotten one here. People are honoring, like your name, Sophia. People honor Sophia. That's known. People are honoring Kali. But Earth Mother, for most people in our Western culture, is like this cute name for the planet, or nature, Earth Mother. They don't realize that she's an actual spiritual consciousness. Right. So somehow, I look at all this now and I know deeply that this is soul contract work. This is what I'm doing that I agreed to do before I was born. But it's still hard.
Could you speak a little bit about the process of surrendering and kind of the things that get in the way of surrendering?
Called fear,
Yeah.
F-E-A-R. Capital letters, underlined, bold, lower.
Yeah.
You know, it's I'm a nature mystic. Trees talk to me, stones talk to me, everything talks to me. I don't live a very normal life.
Yeah.
It's one thing to live it quietly. I had a gardening business, a sacred gardening business for years, and I could do all this quietly, and no one needed to know, and I was like happy and quiet and working with the flowers and communing. But then I get lymphoma, and it's like, okay, you need to surrender and do these books, and that's how you're going to heal. But I have really been surrendering with my digging my heels and fighting and screaming like that. No. And I actually made myself sick again. Writing the Great Mother Bible, I made myself sick again. There was so much fear in my belly, in my womb space, my hara, my most sacred center, in writing that book and thinking, I come from a pretty conservative Catholic family in Baltimore.
Mm-hmm.
You know, what are they gonna think?
Yeah.
What is the rest of the world gonna think? I mean, to say you're talking with God is more accepted than talking with Earth Mother. I mean, it's out there. I'm like way out on the edge. As I said in the book, I think a couple times, maybe more than once, I don't know. I'm hanging off the cliff by my fingernails here, Mother. You know, you're sure you got me? But she has carried me through all this. And the magic that I have experienced, and it's continuing, it doesn't stop. Like right now, I've been doing a lot of ceremony. I love doing ceremony, and I've learned how to do it, and then I've kind of evolved it from what I've learned into how Mother guides me.
Mm-hmm.
And I just 2 weeks ago, close to, I got a major spiritual reboot by doing some ceremony. And
wonderful.
Yeah, and so this word fear and money, because I've been burning through my savings. I sold my house in Baltimore in 2011. No, December 2010. I can't keep track of the years right now. But I sold my house and I put all the money in the bank. I owned it outright. I didn't have any savings otherwise, for a variety of reasons. And so I have been like burning through my savings to the point where right now, to me, it's like pretty low, like scary. Like, am I going to make rent next month? You know? Mm-hmm. And Mother keeps on coming through. And all of a sudden, like I have these clients showing up at my door because I do healing, spiritual coaching work.
Yeah, and you teach classes. And
I have a webinar I'm doing right now, which is really fun. We have 2 more weeks.
Yeah, and I'm sure you'll do more things once that's done.
I have workshops. The webinars will be posted to purchase after the fact, although I've been having internet problems, so that's a whole nother adventure.
Yeah. I know you do ceremonies.
Yeah, I do blessing
with you.
It's a little tricky doing ceremonies and charging for them from the Native American perspective. It's interesting.
Yeah.
Just a little aside, the people who study with shamans from South America, mm-hmm. They have no qualms. There are no issues for them to do ceremony and ask for a fee or whatever.
Yeah.
For me, I'm kind of in this place where it's like, well, okay, a lot of the Native elders don't approve of that. So I don't know. I'm figuring this out as I go along. But I just had a client come yesterday who paid me twice what I normally get paid because Spirit guided her, you know?
Yeah.
And I told her, initially I said, just make a donation.
Yeah.
You know?
So the things come up, you know, the fears and the being human comes up, and, you know, we have these problems, but then, you know, when you are in the process of surrendering, things show up at the right time. And
the surrendering continues to go deeper and deeper. That's the thing with surrendering. It's like we talk about how the onion has layers, you know, and how we're all like onions. Like you probably heard that metaphor. We're all onions, and you heal one layer and there's another layer, and you heal that one, there's another layer. And surrendering is similar to that, because the more you surrender, then the more you're asked to do. Yeah. And it doesn't get smaller.
Right.
But the cool thing is I'm finally in a place where it's starting to get more fun.
Yeah.
It isn't smaller. And yeah, it's really an adventure. And I also am starting to really get, and I'll see if I can explain this very clearly, I'm really getting that life is quantum.
Yeah.
You know, to really be living life from a place of surrender and joy and celebration and just trusting at the deepest level where fear has basically been put way over there and you don't feel it, then everything's quantum. So when I put out the thought, oh my gosh, you know, I really would love to manifest some chocolate, you know,
Yeah.
I've done it. And I might post something on Facebook as a joke. Next thing you know, people are like saying, what's your address? I want to mail you chocolate. People don't even,
Wow.
I mean, that's happened to me. This happened last year. I got the coolest chocolate. Some of it came from a shaman in Guatemala.
Wow.
The shaman didn't mail it to me, but the guy who went down to study with the shaman, he says, oh, I have this amazing chocolate and I got some extra bags and clearly one of these is for you.
Wow.
So, you know, yeah, I mean, there's so much we could talk about here because things are shifting really fast on the planet.
They are. Have you been getting special messages right now? About where
Oh,
we're
there's
at?
stuff coming right, left, and center.
Yeah.
The biggest message is kind of a repetitive one,
Yeah.
and that's that one, Earth Mother exists. Hello, she's here. She's a very powerful being, and that she loves us so much. It's like beyond words the amount of love she has for us. So when we connect with her spiritually and energetically, which is kind of the same, really the same, it actually is a very powerful healing energy. And it brings us home. A lot of people don't even know what it feels like to really feel at home here on Earth because they've never connected with Mother. What's going on these days is this is a very interesting year. Since 2012, things have been getting kind of exponential with the energetic shifts on the planet. And there's a lot rocking and rolling this year. I don't know if you've been tracking the earthquakes and the volcanoes.
All right.
And all of these have been prophesized. You know, Mother doesn't, one of the things I've been blessed with, and I feel very, very grateful for this, is I've been blessed with, from long, long ago, the visions of what the world's going to be like once we really shift over to the new world that's coming in. Because it's coming in now, and we're shifting from the third to the fourth to the fifth dimension now. And to live from this place of spiritual surrender, which I know you know this journey, is really being practically in the fifth dimension.
Yeah.
And those who are in the third dimension, which is the Western TikTok world of, you know, everything's concrete and nothing's spiritual and it's all just physical, and, you know, that world really doesn't exist anymore, other than the fact that our cultural conditioning is perpetuating it.
Sure.
And
yeah.
So, you know, the messages I'm getting from Mother are pretty much just what she wants me to do day by day. And she wants me to start posting more on Facebook. Like, I actually did a message, which I was not intending to do, but there's this petition going around about Donald Trump to get up 2 million signatures to have them recorded somehow on I think it's a New York Times ad paid for by Avaz, this big international petition site, which is very successful with what they do. And so I got the email, signed the petition, 2 million signatures are almost there. And then you have the option of then posting on Facebook and Twitter, right?
Yeah.
And so as I'm posting on Facebook, Mother comes through and she's like, okay, I have a message here about Donald Trump.
Yeah.
I was like, really? You want me to do this here on Facebook? Because I've been reluctant to just go directly and say, Mother's message today, right on Facebook. It's been like intimidating for me because, again, my fear of really putting it out what I'm doing.
Yeah, and you're getting so visible.
I know, it's getting interesting. But it's where I'm supposed to be, and I'm getting stronger inside myself to be able to handle it and be grounded. I still could be a lot more grounded. It's hard. It's very hard. So anyway, so she said, this is what I want you to write, you know, and the message essentially was along the lines of, Donald Trump is, I can't really remember it. I mean, people want to dig back through my Facebook post, but the gist of it was that he's one of a number of people who are so ill prepared for what's going on right now in the world energetically. And he's, you know, he thinks he's prepared, but he's not. And he's so stuck in the third dimension. And he's like a number of the others, like the Koch brothers, who are hanging on for dear life with their fingernails, really, because it's inevitable what's going on with the cracking of the system. Yeah. But they're doing everything they can to hold the system together because it's what they know and how they have control. Yeah. But they can't control it. They can't control what's happening. The energies are too powerful. And so that was the gist of that message. And I posted it on Facebook, you know, and I was like, wow, look what I just did.
What happened?
Well, I didn't spread it. Like, I could have, like, then forwarded it to all these other groups, and I was like, I don't think I want to do that.
Not too late.
But a couple people responded, and then one woman said, well, what does she think about Bernie Sanders?
Yeah.
Seriously, it was a serious question. So I said, well, first of all, Mother doesn't vote for this. But she likes Bernie a lot. She likes his integrity, his I forget, his courage. No, she likes him a lot. He actually, Bernie Sanders is working in the fourth and fifth dimension.
Yeah.
Now, Hillary's not. Her term about Hillary, I can't believe we're getting into politics here. I really don't want to talk about politics with Mother, but I guess we're supposed to. No, Mother's saying, yes, this needs to be said. She's saying this right now to me. I'm like, okay, good. She says Hillary Clinton is slippery. That's her word for Hillary.
Yeah.
Because she just will slide all over whatever needs to be said in the moment. Like, she'll talk to the Wall Street bankers, CEOs, which are apparently those speech tapes or transcripts she didn't want released.
Yeah.
You know, she'll say one thing to them and then another thing to the public at large. So it's like, now Bernie Sanders would not do that.
Right.
He would not do that.
Right.
So, yeah.
Well, thank you for spreading her message. I wanted to say something about the reluctance thing because I think that's a cycle. That's so I'm studying at Loyola now in their Masters of Spiritual and Pastoral Care, and they had a slide one day. I actually ended up taking a picture and sharing on Facebook, and I knew it wouldn't resonate with everyone because it was using the word God, and it was talking about like the type of person that would be like in the Bible as a prophet, and like it was characteristic. One of the characteristics was reluctant to share the message, but they feel called to. And I saw that and I was like, oh my God, that's like me. And I like take a picture of this and I share it because I think that's a thing. Like, I mean, in this case, it's Earth Mother. It's not messages from God, it's messages from Earth Mother. But there's something about that responsibility or the kinds of messages that kind of challenge and sort of stir something different, you know, that might have some conflict with people and, you know, might put us out there as being different, and people might feel some sort of way about that. And like, we don't want to, it's not our message. Like, we didn't want to rock the boat. We're just the messenger here.
Not an idea. I didn't choose to do this.
Yeah, you got
lymphoma.
You didn't choose to do it, and I think that's something that I see with a lot of people, and so I wanted to share that because I know there probably will be people who watch this who will be like, you know, I've been kind of like having my own version of that. Maybe it's not Earth Mother, but maybe it's somebody else's voice that needs to be heard. And lately, I've been getting a lot from Athena. I've been really, really feeling Athena and the powers of justice. Wow. Have really been speaking to me very clearly. And I feel like I'm writing right now, and I might be kind of like overriding some of the things that I was going to include with some messages from Athena. So do you have any tips for anybody who feels called to sharing some of these messages?
Yeah, I do. I have some big tips, actually.
Yeah.
Others yammering at me right now. The first thing is that if you start hearing voices in your head, which you know is not your mind, and you've been meditating and praying and learned how to still your mind, make sure that you ask that they be of the highest good. Because the spirit world is very complex. And it, just like we have different humans of all different flavors and characters and morality or lack thereof, or somewhere in the middle ground, you know, the spirit world is very complex. And so just make sure that if you start getting messages or being told that whoever it is in the spirit dimension wants you to start writing, they have to be honest. You know, that's one of the codes. And if they can't respond that they're of the highest good, then you need to send them packing. Seriously, tell them to go away. Because that's one of the things I would definitely keep in mind. And that's a big one. That's a really big one. And the second thing is that right now, things are happening so fast energetically on the planet that if you know deeply and you've asked and you're speaking with spirit as a mystic, and spirit's like, yeah, I'm of the highest good, like Athena, or, you know, it could be whoever. Mary Magdalene, for some reason, she just came in. She's been coming in more energetically and spiritually with my work, so I'm learning how to work with her more. I work with the Virgin Mary, I work with Kuan Yin, spiritually, Great Divine Mother. Mary Magdalene's pretty amazing.
I just read a book about her called The Resurrection of Mary Magdalene. It's really interesting.
Yeah. I need to get to know her better on the spirit planes.
She's a prophet.
Anyway, what's that?
She's a prophet, for sure.
Oh yeah. That all got suppressed big time, as we know.
Yeah.
The other thing is that your fears are going to come up, and just forgive yourself for the fears, and keep on moving forward. And make sure that you surround yourself with people who really support you. Like, I needed my cocoon of a few select friends, and I needed to hide under the rock the past few years to do these books. I had to. It was terrifying what was going on for me. I mean, I really was terrified. I made myself sick over again. But the thing to remember is that we live in very amazing times, and spirituality and spiritual truths are not only to be found in organized religion in buildings, as it's not. I mean, I've been studying with native teachers for all these years, going on 20 years now, and I can have a tree teach me amazing wisdom that's just as good, if not better, than what I could find in a church, depending on the pastor or the priest. I mean, there's a whale, an orca whale, named Granny, and one of the sections, maybe you remember reading it in the Great Mother Bible, one of the chapters is a message from Granny. Granny is a prophet in the whale community, and her mission is to bring these messages through a woman named Mary J. Gedden, who's an extraordinary animal communicator. Granny is, actually Granny's coming in spiritually right now. I can feel her. She's amazing. Talk about love. Oh.
Yeah.
And she is so old. They never knew orcas could live this long. She's in the J pod in the Salish Sea, which are the waters from Seattle up to Vancouver. She's a matriarch. Oh, she's really coming in now. I get chilly bumps of energy. I don't know if you can feel it. Maybe you feel it right now.
I feel something, yeah. Really
that's
high
Granny.
Vibrational. Yeah.
That's Granny, the orca whale. She is beautiful and so wise. And Granny put a message out, and this is what Mother's saying too, is that we are more powerful than we realize. We have been taught to diminish ourselves so much by our culture, by our schooling, by our parents, by the cultural conditioning. Our parents didn't know any better. They were diminished too. But right now, we all need to midwife this new world. It's coming in. And the more we step into our power and our highest self, it's going to be amazing. And it is already amazing. And it's cropping up in small, beautiful ways all over, like the mycelia of the mushroom that's just waiting to sprout. But we need to step into our full, authentic self of the highest good. And connect. And another thing that's important, and Mother always wants me to share this as much as I can, and I don't want to go too much over time here, but this is a time where we each can embrace the Christ consciousness. And if people have a hard time with the word Christ, I understand that. I was raised Catholic, a lot of guilt stuff. You can say Buddha consciousness. You can say Krishna consciousness. You can say the white
Granny
buffalo
consciousness.
What was that?
Granny consciousness.
Or Granny. Yeah, that's great. But a lot of people don't know who she is. But yeah. We all have the capacity right now to embrace that energy, that vibration, that resonance, and bring it into our heart. And as one Shoshone elder I've studied with says, and release the thorns from our hearts, because so many of us in our culture have wounded hearts. Yeah. And when we can really tap into that, it's such a healing energy. And I work with it when I do my healing work with my clients, you know, and work on people's heart chakras and release old wounds and past life stuff and all that. But But we all have the capacity during this time period on the planet to be Christ, Buddha, Krishna, Granny the whale. she's still alive. White buffalo cap. I mean, the list is long. There are a number of beautiful prophets that have come to the planet. The Pale One, the Peacemaker, and the Native tribes. We can all be carrying that energy and be prophets. I really am nothing special. I really am not. I mean, my thing about a worm herder, and you mentioned you kind of like, what does that mean? I used to have a worm composting system, you know, where it was indoors, you know, the layers of worms, and you feed them compost in a little spigot, and you get this great worm leachate, which is the best fertilizer. But I actually honestly feel that the worms are wiser than I am. They do more for the planet than I do, although Mother likes this book and it's getting out there and it's good. But, you know, humility is a really important part of this path too. I really need to say that. You have to constantly, like, if I start to feel like, oh, wow, that just happened, I must be so cool. It's like, nope, you're just, there's an expression in the Lakota, hollow eagle bone. No ego. Just let spirit move through me for the highest good to serve. So tonight I'm doing sacred fire ceremony, as I mentioned to you before we started, because this matriarch ancient tree that's at least 250 years old, I swear it is being cut right there today.
Oh, wow.
And it's huge. It's absolutely huge. So this morning I was spiritually called to walk that way in the neighborhood, which I never do in the morning. And all of a sudden it's like, I get this message as I'm getting in bed, you need to go for a walk. You need to go that way. I'm like, okay, sure. Yeah, I need to exercise. Yeah, right. Well, then I get to this house and I see the logging, you know, tree company trucks, and it's like, oh no. I tried to convince the homeowner that couldn't he just take one big limb? It was actually pretty respectful to me, and I didn't try to come across too woo-woo, you know, which I did anyway. But I promised the tree, promised the tree and the other tree that was being cut that I would do sacred fire ceremony to honor them. And people are actually joining me. It's on Facebook on my homebook page, and I'm inviting people. If you want to join me long distance in ceremony and prayer. And one woman actually said, I'm going to go plant a tree today. I'm going to go to the nursery today and plant a tree in honor. And I was like, wow. Yeah. So my life
cycles end and new one begins.
Yeah. Although when you lose a tree like that and it's not sick, the problem is it's too close to this carriage house. And I can really tell that they built the carriage house really close to the tree because they didn't want to cut the tree. The tree's older than the carriage house. They didn't want to cut it because somehow they were guided not to. But this owner and his wife are like, he says it's a widow maker because his mother-in-law lives in the carriage house. And it is a big tree. It's like plump next. Like, I mean, literally maybe this far from the carriage house. And that's the trunk that's this big. You can't see where my arms are, but the trunk is huge. So the tree appreciated that I thanked it and loved it up this morning. So
I appreciate that you're honoring the tree and being a voice for the tree and the voice for Earth Mother. And I encourage everybody to check out your book, The Great Mother Bible. And we're going to have more information about how you can reach Mare. And she and I both share a mission of wanting to empower other people to use their voice and to be honoring the, the things that are here, that are real, the truth that not everybody is realizing is the truth. I definitely agree that Earth Mother's here and needs to be honored and respected. And I'm really glad that someone like you is speaking for her, Mare. And can you tell everybody where they can find information about your classes and events and before we wrap up?
Yeah, they can all go to my website. Clearly, that's a good place to go, and that's MARE. I think it's on the screen here, marecromwell.com. Right now, actually, I have extended. Today is April 25th, Monday. I've extended a Kindle special. I was going to take it down this morning, put it back up to the rate I had it before, because I did it for Earth Day weekend. The mother said, no, I want you to continue this Kindle special. She actually did this morning. I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
So right now, the books, all my books, Great Mother Bible, Messages from Mother Earth Mother, and If I Gave You God's Phone Number, are only $2.99 on Kindle.
Oh, nice.
And I don't know how long I'm going to keep that up because it's up to Mother.
Yeah.
I know there's going to be some Mother's Day thing coming up, but that hasn't fully formulated as to what that's going to be. But that's a perfect time to promote, obviously, these messages, this wisdom.
This is the path of surrendering, you know?
Yeah, honest to God, every day I don't know what's going to happen. Yeah. I don't even need to leave my place here and adventures happen as like this morning. You know, I don't need to even leave. That's crazy. Not crazy.
Thank you so much for coming to do this interview with me. This has been marvelous, and I'm sure we help people in many ways today.
I really want to thank you, Sophia. I really appreciate and honor what you're doing. And going to Loyola, a very Christian-based institution, and going through their training, I admire that. I don't think I'd have the patience. I'd be getting upset in every other class going, what?
The Divine Feminine definitely led me there, and I am definitely speaking up for her. I just gave a presentation on sacred sexuality last week, and I put it up on YouTube because it's blowing people's minds, you know.
Oh, girl.
So
the message for you from Mother, because she wants me to say it, is she's watching you and she is loving what you're doing.
Oh.
And I have a feeling that you tap into her already, but if you want to tap into her any more powerfully, go for it. And I can actually help you with that if you want, but you probably already know a lot. But she has a particular message for you because, it's time for the sacred feminine to come back into balance. And I know you want to wrap it up, so I could keep talking, but we need to stop.
I love it. Well, me and you will be talking, and I'll be learning more from you and Earth Mother. I'm sure of it.
And I look forward to learning more from you too.
Yeah, and I bet we'll have you back around. You'll have you back on the cycle. You know, we'll have you back.
Cycle back in.
Yeah.
Cycling Mare and Mother.
And everybody who's watching, thank you so much for watching this interview with us. I hope you go ahead and you check out Mare's website. Under this video is going to be in the description links to her, and you can go follow her and sign up for her newsletter and see all her messages. And if you like this interview, you might want to subscribe to my channel. I'll have more interviews with really amazing people as well. And until next time, goodbye, everybody, and bye, Mare. Thank you so much.
You. I honor you. Beautiful.
It's
been great.
Thank you so much. Have a great day.
You too.